party people, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Torn Antoinette, and today we're getting into the last installment in my Senegal travel series. So this is day 5, and it's going to be a bit of a heavy day because we're visiting Goree Island, a major port in the transatlantic slave trade, where they strategically chose because as an island, captives were not able to easily escape, and the winds naturally pushed the ships towards the Americas, so they didn't have to work as hard to sail away or go against, use as much skill to start their journey. This is our tour guide, and he did a wonderful job of telling us the history of the island, some of the people who, like the hands it kind of traded through, the Portuguese, the French, all of the various European nations who participated in the slave trade. And then something to note too, when you are, because we're about to pass like a vendor's place, like when you are on the ferry, if you ever get a chance to go, baby, the saleswomen don't play. Okay, they are going to they're going to say, come to my shop, make sure you come to my shop. And they're going to be if you don't, when you finally get there, they're going to be very upset about it. Okay, really forceful, really in your face. And you're going to have to, be prepared for that. Okay, make no promises because they get upset. So this was the baobab tree, which was native to Senegal. And then we stopped in the governor's house, which they converted into a theater. You can see kind of that seating area at the beginning. And then we went to another house. And you guys, this place was so funny. It's not funny, but like because of the, nature of the island. But this place, obviously is a very beautiful building, very vibrant, very inviting. At one point, I was out in that open area just admiring the architecture. And then I started to wonder, why? Like, what was this place used for? When I finally rejoined the group, he was explaining like the history. You guys, why was it a whorehouse? This is where the mulattoes entertained. I was like, oh my goodness. There's my food going off in the background. Shout out to being human. We also didn't walk very far, so that was a good thing. After we left there, it was time for we had a scheduled tour at the slave house, and we were headed that way. So this kind of open area at the top. Now you can imagine the captives did not have access to toilets, showers, the smell. The reason why they have all those open air windows, the Europeans had to, and maybe some Africans needed a place to breathe from the stench of having all those people crammed down, all the captives crammed down there in their own waste and, kind of filth. So it just walking in, it looks like a interesting or maybe beautiful place, but it really is, when you think about the design and why it is that way, it's awful. It's truly awful. And the space, they have little lights and windows carved out to let light in, but these, at the time that this was in use, did not exist. So you can imagine how dark it was. It's daylight now. It will probably still be pitch black inside because they didn't have access to lights. And this, having walked through this area, I started to break down. I had to walk away, and I was just kind of overwhelmed with just grief. And it took me a minute to kind of regain my composure. By the time I got back with the group, he was detailing this area here where they would, again, that window didn't exist. They would take rebellious captives, people who were trying to escape, people who were trying to fight, and they would cram them into this small space and lock them in there overnight and torture them. It wasn't until we got to this point and he showed us the doorway where they exited to board the ships that things started to shift. So that doorway is called the point of no return. And as soon as he said those words, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like, to be the descendant of someone who was enslaved, who survived that journey, who survived the terrible conditions of slavery in the United States of America, to return, oh, that's powerful. And you walk a little differently. I think everyone had a little shift in their mood, knowing that potentially our ancestors exited this space, and here we are centuries later returning to it, when they called this the point of no return. Enough said. So after that heavy experience, we went shopping. So we bought some artwork. We saw this man create custom pieces, and it was really dope. I think he was using like volcanic ash and sand and different things. Everyone, I think, bought something from there. They also have like an art show. And this was from like a recent installment. The art show was actually hosted at the, I think it's the Yellow House that we went to. After this, we went a little shopping. Here's T's aunt dancing. I think I finished my shopping, and T and Assane's nephew and niece were like playing music and recording, and we were just having a good time until it was time to take the journey back to Sally. Bonjour. Good morning. So it's hard for me to like bend over like this. Let me get a chair. I'm taking my airborne. It is literally, the time here has flown by so fast. I don't even think we're in hours. I think just like the currency has to be exchanged, the time has to be exchanged. Like, it's crazy how much time has passed. So every day I've been taking some airborne just to keep me open and help support my immune system. I take 2 chewable tablets in the morning and then 2 in the middle of the day or right before bed. I don't like chewing them all at the same time. Too much stuff in my mouth. And then Naisha abandoned me because their house is nicer. Even though she picked this house out. But I'm not hurt. I'm still here. Like the Tisha Martin Campbell song. I'm still here, oh. This morning, I want to try to use the stove. Now this is going to go really good, or y'all going to witness something really bad. All right, here we go. I have some water from last night. Actually, they have the smaller pot. I'm going to grab the smaller pot. Actually, it has something in it. So I'm just going to do this. All right. That's the oven. These the burners. So look at that. And we're gonna let that go. All right. See y'all later. She's in this cute little black Fitz because she was supposed to go ATV riding today. However, it rains. So, how many nights is she gonna eat brochette de lot? Every night. How many nights is she gonna get brochette de lot with rice and veggies? Oh, he gave me a lot of rice and veggies. He liked me as a person, not, it's a family restaurant. Now, our last couple days we spent mainly at Tiana's family's Airbnb, and it was beautiful. It had interesting, eclectic artwork. We'll see some in a minute. Freeze frame. Notice any of the special artwork. This is all throughout the house, okay? It's kind of set the tone for what the house was like. very, it's giving entertaining. Okay. We like to entertain. Okay. So you had a walkway to the ocean and a nice spacious pool. T's godmother gave me a tour of the upstairs area. And all the rooms had like a color theme, the bathrooms and the rooms. So this was like the green room. They had like a blue room, a blue bathroom, very similar to this one. And then the pink room. And the pink room it's giving sultry. Okay, I can't include all the artwork because a lot of it is nudity. But it was interesting. It was interesting. The next day, we went to Lake Retba. Now, this was the day that T's family was leaving. They left at nighttime though. So we woke up early and was like, let's go see this one last like national landmark, which was like a 2-hour drive away from Sali. No stress. I know that's right. Shout out to Wizkid. But yeah, so we got up early. We hit the road and we ventured out to Lake Retba. And I mentioned before in the last video that it rained a lot. So our tour guide, Momodou, who was real cool, like personality, he mentioned how when it rains, it affects the color of the lake. So usually it's much more pink, but because it had just rained, it was a little cloudy and kind of dusty. You can see it under certain lights. Like you can see a pinkish hue and when you face a certain direction, but mostly it was kind of muddy. So what they do, it has a salt density similar to the Dead Sea. So you can float very easily and they harvest the salt. So here's one of the guys, he was out there pretty late. They usually get up earlier just because of the heat. And they have to lather themselves in shea butter to protect their skin just because that salt density like will irritate you. Like you can't stay in the water for too long. This is the salt that you could see. The one thing I miss is not being able to get purchased salt. Like they had like a nice salt market that we didn't get to go to. Then we were off to drop T's family off to the airport. It's my last day, you guys. It's my last day. Oh my God. I'm not gonna cry. But I am here at the villa by the pool. And I just feel like so blessed. And I feel so blessed and just so overwhelmed. Like this was such a beautiful experience to see my friend and her husband, to meet him for the first time in person, to meet his family and see their families come together and just have such genuine connection. Incredible. I'm listening to Masego, obviously. I hope it's not too loud. If I hadn't had to go to Steph's wedding in Chicago, I would not leave. Literally, I would extend my stay and stay for another couple weeks and then go to Europe and just never go home. Just never go home. I planned on going to see the lions, but it turned out to be a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, like $130 maybe. So I'm just like, that's too much. And I still have to go to Chicago, so I'm learning to say no to things. So today, my last day, I am waiting for Assane to come pick me up, him and T. And then I'm going to drop my bags off, go get something to eat, and then do a little bit of shopping, and then catch my flight. I'm sad. Okay.